Alright, let's get started real quick because I got 2 hours before I need to leave for a flight and I haven't packed yet. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to need for this is an actual weapon that we can swing with. So let me get a weapon. So if I go over here into the Epic Store, which I'm going to show you here, you go in here and you have the whole fab thing. You hit start exploring and yeah, it'll open up this thing here. And if we look up, I'm going to look up specifically a thing that I already know about. So I'm going to look up, what is it called? Fantasy. Whoa. Just look up weapon. I'm just going to weapon. Alright. I'll look up weapon, and if you go on the side here, you can go to the price. You can check it as free. Let's do weapon sample pack. Specifically for Unreal Engine. Forgot to do that. I already have it saved to my library, so I need to download it. But all you'd have to do is click on it and hit the download. So close that out and let me pull up the thing in the Epic launcher here. If I go into my library now, I now have it because I looked up weapon because I have a lot of different assets. You might have to use the little search bar up here. And I'm going to pick this free fantasy weapons sample thing that I selected. You can select your own, it doesn't really matter. Just get some type of weapon, and then I'm going to search for the thing that I want to put it in. Here it's going to be my project, but it's going to be whatever you name your project. So I'm just going to hit add to project. And then I'm going to go back into my project, and I should have the assets inside your content folder. And it's right here. It says weapon pack. It says, alright, so now what you want to do is go into your third person here, go into blueprints, go into your third person character, and I'm just going to go in here, drag this up here, and I'm going to hit the search bar where it says skeletal mesh asset. I'm going to do that. Sorry, maybe I should explain what I'm doing. I am going to be attaching the weapon to the character hand slot. So I can double click on here. And then I'm going to hit the SK mannequin skeleton looking thing, the thing that looks like a skeleton, this little blue thing at the top. Click on it. And it'll open up this whole thing on the side. And what I'm going to be looking for is going to be the hand R, because I'm going to put it in the right hand. And hand R stands for the right hand. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a socket here. So it's going to be add a socket. It's going to automatically say hand R socket. And what you can do is just right click on that and you can add a preview asset. And that is going to be the sword, which I don't know the name of, but I'm going to assume it's called sword. Okay, so it's called SM sword. Easy enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it rotate to fit exactly how I want it to on this skeleton. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Okay. Good enough. Alright, so I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to go back into my character here. And then all we have to do is for this graph here, we're going to add a mesh to the skeleton itself. So static mesh. And we're going to, actually I'm going to add it onto this. And we're going to change what the socket name is here. So I'm going to use the search bar here, and it's going to pop down this whole list of things having to do with the skeletal mesh. So I'm just going to look up hand R, and it should be socket. And I didn't attach a weapon onto it, so you're not going to see anything. So we're going to, in the static mesh selection thing, the static mesh here, I'm going to click on the static mesh that I'm going to be applying. And as you can see, it's not in the right position. That's because it's not zeroed out. So we're just going to zero out the location and the rotation. And it should be exactly how we have it within the place that we put it in the SK mannequin. Compile and save that. Now the next thing we're going to do, which I didn't pull up already, is get a Mixamo thing. And what I need to do with Mixamo is I'm just going to take, let's see, I guess this is the mannequin. I'm just going to use this mannequin. And I'm going to look up melee attack. And hopefully I can find it out of the millions of melee attacks here, what I want to do. Standing melee attack probably works. That's fine, I guess. Look for one that looks good for you. I'm going to upload the character. Not upload the character. I'm not gonna upload character. I'm gonna download. I'm gonna download with skin. I'm gonna make the keyform reduction uniform. And the difference between the uniform and non-uniform is basically how much it's moving around, whether you want to use uniform or non-uniform. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I'm going to download this here. I'm picking uniform here just because it's not moving around too much. It's still keeping like a steady base. And I'm going to open up this folder here. I'm going to go back into the Unreal Engine. I'm going to take this downward sword thing and I am going to create a folder because I should create a folder for this before I do any of this stuff. So this folder is going to be called Mixamo, just for my naming. I'm going to add this in here. And I want to import the mesh, skeletal mesh, import animations. Let's see if this works. Let's see, auto saving, animation. Okay, so it's got some errors here. Let's see if we need to worry about them. We might not need to, but we might. Let's take a look and see what that does. So I have a standing melee attack animation sequence. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open this standing melee attack sequence here. And it looks like it's doing the standing melee attack that I'm trying to get it to do. So that is good. What I need to do though is I need to have this do this on something else. But before I do that, I am going to create a anim montage. Standing melee attack, animation montage. And what I'm going to do is just going to save it. And I am going to close this for now. Well, I'm actually just going to leave it closed because I'm actually going to retarget this animation montage that we just created. So I'm just going to click retarget animations. They really made this easy for everybody. And I'm going to get SK Manny. Which one's the good one? That's UE4. I'm just going to do this one. And then I'm going to click on the montage here. And that's the thing that I'm going to be retargeting here. So I'm going to export. So I am going to export the animations to, I'm just going to do it in the content folder, and you'll see it just pop up in the content folder. That's not what you should do. You should create a separate folder for it, but I'm just going to do this real quick. Include referenced assets, export. So it created both the animation montage and animation sequence. I am going to close this for now. And now I am just going to, I'm going to close this too. And I'm going to close this. I'm going to go into our event graph here, and we're going to start messing with some stuff. So what we want to do is we want to have an event on, let's see, keyboard key. I'm going to have it my click button. And then I'm going to have it do this once. Do once, and then it's going to play the animation montage. Anim montage. And yeah, let me select the anim montage I'm trying to get it to do. I want the one that has the mannequin in it, the one that we retargeted. And I'm going to have it delay to the end of the montage before you do it again. And that way I can't like interrupt my sword swinging animation. If you want to, then you wouldn't put this do once thing here. That should be fine for that, at least. So if I go in, which I haven't even tested to see if I have a sword. There you go. I am swinging a sword. But issue being, it plays with the feet as well. So when you hit the sword, you kind of like slide across the ground while you're swinging it. So now I'm going to go into my third person character, and we're going to go into the anim graph. So for the animation, I'm going to hit the search function on here. I'm going to do it on, I believe this is, yeah, the parent class is Manny. So I can do it in here. So here we go. I have a default slot here that's attached to this main states here. I might actually separate this from the other one. So if I alt click this, oops, stop dragging that. I am going to off this main states. I want to keep this for multiple different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, what the heck is it called? New save cache pose. And then I just call this main states. So what I'm doing here is I'm saving this, all the main states that are in here, and I'm saving it to this main states pose thing. And this is basically just like saving a reference or something else that we can use it later. And I'm about to use it right now. So use cached pose main states, and I'm going to duplicate this. And what I'm doing right now is I'm separating the top half and the bottom half from each other. So this is going to be like the top half of what we want, and this is going to be the bottom half. So if you do default slot, and I don't know if I have another slot. Alright, I did not make another slot, so I am going... Well, I actually do have other slots. So wait, let me duplicate this. And I'm going to drop down this menu here. And I'm just going to hit upper body slot. And I'm just going to get rid of this. I could have used that earlier for the other thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these both into a layered blend per bone. And so this one is going to be in the base pose, and this one is going to be in the blend pose 0. And then I'm going to attach this to the source. I'm going to go in here, and then I'm going to drop down all these little arrow things here, and click a plus here, and go down again. And we're going to look for a specific bone. I'm just going to copy a bone because I don't exactly know the names of the bones. If you hit this, it'll take you to our skeleton again. And you just want a point that you're going to split at. So spine 01 looks absolutely fine. So I'm just going to copy that. Go back into the anim graph. Sorry. Go back into this graph, the ABP Manny. And I'm going to place that bone in here and paste it. And I'm going to compile and save it and see if it works. Let me hit play. And now I am moving my legs, but when I hit the sword button, it swings a sword. Looks, you know, looks all right. It looks kind of funky, but whatever. You get it. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to create some logic for applying the damage to the enemy. All right, so now I'm packed, but I still have to hurry up. So let's go into here and create an enemy here. I'm just going to do character BP underscore enemy. I'm going to double click on this, and in here I'm going to set the mesh. Well, actually, since I'm already hovering over this, ABP Manny for the anim class here. And oh my gosh, I got no lighting. Whatever. And for the skeletal mesh, I'm going to put in the SKM Manny. And I'm going to roll this down here. And I'm going to rotate it around. And I'm just going to make a real simple health setup for this thing. So I'm going to delete this. Event, any damage. Man, I feel like I'm fighting the clock right now. Event any damage, I'm going to, let me get a variable for health. Health, I'm not going to need to set max health for anything right now, so I'm just going to get health here. I can compile this and then allow me to fill in right here. And I can put in 50. And that will, I'm going to subtract the health here. So subtract the health. So I need to actually move this to the bottom because this matters here. Because I'm taking the health and I am subtracting it by the damage instead of the other way around. And I'm going to set this new health here as this health subtracted by the damage. And I'm going to get a print string here so I can actually see this happening because I'm not actually going to create a health bar right now. Just going to drag this here and it should just give me the number. And I'm also going to make this condition, whether this is less than or equal to 0. And if it is, I'm going to create a branch here. And I am going to set this to true. True? Yes. If it is less than or equal to 0, I'm going to destroy actor. Compile and save. And that should be it for that. I'm going to go back in here, and I am just going to drag this over a bit. No. Let me go here. I'm going to apply... Actually, no. I'm just going to grab the static mesh here. So this is the weapon. Not going to do that either. I'm going to do it this way. So many ways to do it. I'm going to do it this way. On component begin overlap with this static mesh. The overlapped component is going to be... I'm going to apply damage. I think there's a... Yeah, there's a slot here for the other actor to go into. I don't want it to apply damage no matter what. Like, I don't want it to run. If you run into him, I don't want it to apply damage. So instead, I'm going to do this once. Do once. And I need a start closed. I'm going to create a sequence off of this. Sequence off of this. And if I... Oh, get right in the camera. If I do this, then I want this also to get sent in here. And that should reset this. And I want to keep this one closed and this one on. And then I'm going to put this to like 10. And that should work. Let's take a look. I'm going to create my enemy first. Drag him in. I'm going to rotate him around. I'm going to hit play. That is an animation, but it is doing damage to him. Wait, let me make sure that it's not just doing damage no matter what. Okay. Let's try to play around a little bit. And I destroyed him, and he's no longer there. And yeah, that's as simple as it gets. And that's all I wanted to show. Have a good one. Bye.